Hello. In this lesson, we will cover the value ranges of variables. Let's start with integers. Byte data type is capable of holding whole numbers in the range of 0 to 255 and occupies 1 byte of memory. Integers, represented by the int, are capable of storing numbers within the range of -32,000 to +32,000, occupying 2 bytes of memory. The unsigned integer variable type can store numbers between 0 and 65,000, occupying 2 bytes of memory. By prefixing unsigned to the int type, the negative values are excluded, resulting in an increased positive range. The long variable type can store integer values between -2 billion and +2 billion, occupying 4 bytes of memory. The addition of the unsigned keyword before the long type eliminates negative values, enabling storage of positive integers within the range of 0 to 4 billion and using 4 bytes of memory. When selecting the variable type, pay attention to the range of values the sensor or information can take and prefer the smallest memory usage if possible. Decimal numbers cannot be assigned to integer variables. How then can we store decimal numbers? If decimal numbers are to be used, the float and double variable types are employed for real numbers, encompassing both integers and decimals. The memory space occupied by a float is for bytes, whereas a double occupies 8 bytes. For our computer's memory, the 8-byte space might not be a big concern. However, it is quite significant for Arduino's constrained to kilobyte SRAM. The Boolean variable type, also written as bool, only takes the values true and false and occupies 2 bytes of memory. There are 2 types of string variables. The char variable type is used to store a single character, and we need to enclose this single character between single quotation marks. When it comes to string variables, they have the ability to hold more than one character, and it is necessary to enclose the values of these string expressions in double quotes. Pay attention to this. The values of numerical variable types and Boolean variable types are not written between any characters, they are written as they are. Why are variables categorized into types? For the most efficient utilization of memory, variables are categorized into various types. When keeping temperature data, float or double variable types are utilized if decimal precision is important. On the contrary, if the decimal part is not crucial, it can be stored in integer or long types. Certainly, the space these variables occupy in memory differs. The integer variable type occupies 2 bytes of memory, whereas the long variable type takes up 4 bytes. In order for the topic to become more tangible in your mind, picture a metaphor displayed on the screen. For example, when we express integer temperature equals 25, think of it as reserving a 2-byte space, which is essentially 2 cells. However, if we define it as long temperature equals 25, this space will expand to 4. Both of them will eventually perform the same task. There is no point in occupying memory unnecessarily.